Look, I think, you can talk to Walt directly. I think his thesis really surrounds the fact that sentiments turned too negative. He was one of the, I think, really the first to call the get out of Apple, removing his buy back in mid-April. Kind of really good timing on getting out. And I think right now he's looking at it and thinking there's several positive catalysts to come. And I think if you talk to him today, he was at the Samsung event too. And I think, similar to what Tim, this was not all that exciting. And so I think, what you just mentioned in terms of performance of stocks today, I think, you're going to see a nice follow through on Apple's call that Walt had yesterday.
How do our listeners and viewers filter through the media frenzy, the product launches and all that, versus trying to make money or trying to not lose money? Just ignore it?
Look, there's lots of hype and excitement. I mean, I follow the media sector, and so I think in the media sector, there's always big movie launches and big TV launches. And again, for my business, it's all about creating great content. Great content wins. It doesn't matter what the hype is or what the excitement is. You still have to have really good stuff. And I think, it's funny, you're sitting with Twitter right in front of you. It used to be if you made great content, the studios or TV studios could will things to success for a period of time. With Rotten Tomato scores and Twitter, as live feedback, you're standing online to buy a movie ticket and people are literally giving instantaneous feedback.
You wouldn't be talking about that Oz movie that's out right now. You're not going to see it, are you, Scott?
I'm not going to see it, but I do want to ask you about the parallels between Apple and Facebook, because both of these companies are struggling to get more out of their biggest market, the United States, which is maturing, and of course trying to break in and do more in the emerging markets. How is each approaching it, and who's doing better?
Well, I really can't speak to Apple, but I can certainly speak to Facebook. And I think when you look at Facebook, the challenge right now is that the U.S. is mature. I mean, think about when most of you and your friends joined Facebook. It was years ago that most people joined, in this age group, joined Facebook. And, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, we were adding friends like crazy. I mean, I would walk off a set like this and we would Facebook friend you. I wouldn't even think about doing that now. I mean, I might hit you on LinkedIn if you were really creative. I might follow you on Instagram.
So we're not adding new friends. We're not expanding our circle.
Well, it's just, and you're not keeping it fresh. The problem is a lot of the Facebook data, whether it's, people used to like movies when they first joined up. Right. They would say, oh, I like The Godfather, because they wanted to be cool and say they like The Godfather, or they like Old School, or they like, they read Animal House, whatever the book, the movie is. The challenge now is that Facebook's, all the advertising that you see in your feed is driven off of the underlying data.
You made a huge splash when you went to a sell on Facebook a number of days ago. Frame for us a price path. It's 27, IPO is 38, nice bounce. Where will this be 12 months, 24 months from now?
I mean, look, we only set 12-month price targets for the moment. Our 12-month price target is 22. I think it could get there actually a lot faster when you look at the fact that Q1 expectations for mobile advertising look pretty aggressive. The street is assuming that despite seasonality, it keeps growing.
Just because of time, what does Ms. Sandberg need to lean into to fix this, to turn it around?
It's not turning it around. Facebook's an incredible growth company. And I think there's people that have rotated out of Apple, as people have been kind of worried about Apple's prospects, people have rotated into Facebook. And I think you might see a little bit of a reversion of that if Walt's right and Apple starts improving. I think the real question is on Facebook, is it, does the valuation, is it warranted given the growth rate? And do they need to find something other than advertising? We were talking about the advertising you're seeing in your feed and we're seeing in my feed. Is it good enough? Is it high quality enough to warrant the type of growth rate that our investors are expecting? I mean, they're thinking that mobile goes from a few hundred million to, almost 2 billion to 3 to 4 billion.
You're saying no way.
I just think the growth rates that people are assuming are very, very aggressive.
Thank you so much. Rich Greenfield.